Hello all, welcome to my channel. I'm back with another video. In this video, we are talking about feature flags. So, in while working with one of my projects recently, I had to decide that whether certain features should be enabled for all customers or for only for certain set of customers. And that's where feature flag thing came up. And I implemented it using ConfigCat. So, I wanted to give an overview of what a feature flag is and how we can implement and how to make it then standard as well. So, feature flagging is a software development technique that allows teams to enable or disable certain features or code paths at runtime without modifying the source code. So that's what the feature flag is. And it allows developers to decouple feature deployment from code releases. So for example, let's say I have built something and I want to deploy it. So once I deploy it, after that, if I have to make a code change for certain users, features, that becomes a difficult job. So those things, if it is abstracted out and it is enabled or disabled on externally without we have to do a deployment, that's where this feature flag comes into picture, and that's what this line says, that it allows developers to decouple feature deployment from code releases, enabling progressive rollouts, A/B testing, and faster innovation cycles. Feature flags aren't just a technical tool; it's a acts as a communication tool between product and the engineering team. So the product can say that okay, this feature needs to be enabled only for certain users, and then once we see this approach, we can think of, or once we see the feedback, we can roll it out for larger audience as well. So that kind of thing happens in here. So product can decide when to run something and when not to, and when the engineers finishes a chunk of work, engineer can deliver a smaller increments, feel safer about pushing code changes. So if let's say something goes wrong, they can simply go ahead and disable that flag. So there are different types of flags or toggles. Release toggle is there, which is a very short term. Ops toggle is actually ops flags are for short term flags that are often used to determine the impact. For example, one ops toggle can be debug mode, which can be done externally. Then we have experiment toggles like short term feature flags that are used for performance testing and experiments. And then we have permission flags, which is flags that are used to customize the product experience for certain users. That okay, that this is certain users will see certain features, certain will not. So that is the permission toggle. And to implement this, while I was looking at this, I also found one interesting project called OpenFeature, which is standardizing the feature toggling, feature flagging for everyone. What it does, it creates, it says that okay, there is this is a defined schema or defined a consistent API that that implements this feature flag functionality. So there are different companies which uh, came together and created this open specification for open feature, which says that okay, it will have what needs to be there in the in a feature flag, and then it says that okay, whatever systems that implement this open feature can be part of that particular solution. So this helps us in switching vendors easily, migrating between feature flag providers without major code changes. It also ensures consistency. It enhances interoperability between providers. So for example, what happens is flag evaluation and context is passed to this open feature SDK. It will talk to the open feature provider and then get the flags related to that particular system which implements this provider. So for example, so one feature, open feature has two components. One is open feature SDK, other one is provider. So there are different providers like DevCycle, ConfigCat, Split. I think Split is now owned by Harness. So yes, Split was earlier a feature flag company. So differently, then Flagsmith is FlagD, Go Feature Flag. So there are different providers which are there. And best practices is to make flag planning part of the feature design itself rather than thinking it afterwards. So when you plan any feature, you ask this question like, do we need a flag? Will this be really released immediately? Or if yes, can we use a flag? Standardize the naming the flag name should be consistent. Minimize the reach of the flag, like who can access that flag. Decide flag ownership upfront, like who writes the flags, who removes them and when, and who turns them on and off. Establish access control and safety checks for the feature enablement, disablement. Make the feature flags visible to everyone. So every stakeholder, product, engineering, stakeholders, business, they need to know the flags exist, where they exist, how they can, what is their current station, and how who owns them, how to change them. So that needs to be made visible. Create a process for removing flags, because this becomes, if we don't remove these flags, it becomes a tech debt. So we need to create a plan while designing this flag itself, that okay, how to remove this, and also conduct a regular cleanup and review cycles for your feature flags. So for example, uh, creating one is typing instance and OpenFeature SDK ConfigCat provider, and just this is a simple example of how to create a provider and then use that in our app. So this is a simple Flask app where we are using saying that okay, we want to that this welcome message will be customized, and it will we will get the boolean value from a remote location, a remote config remote feature flag provider. So we here we are using config provider. So once we set that value in here, welcome message, if it is set to true, then we will get this Flask plus open feature server. If not, then it will get Flask server. So this is how we simply can implement, and the code path is also decided on the same path. And there is a now comes question that this is looks very similar to a remote configuration options, right? A remote configuration or a remote config is a configuration that can be set or changed remotely without we have to restart the or restart the or do a deployment. So how it is different? So now what I see is that configuration, remote configuration and feature flags are getting closer and closer. There are providers which offer both. For example, ConfigCat offers both feature flag feature as well as a remote configuration systems as well. So in my project, I am using this ConfigCat both as a feature flag as an remote config provider. So for example, I have a config uh, for an Airflow plugin that it automatically decides the size of the container that should be launched to based on a dataset size present in the S3 location itself. So that is also used. But one thing to note is configuration is something which is either at compile time, load time, those two. But feature flag is something which happens at runtime. So that's the basic distinction. So if we see the configuration definition, like the differences between feature flag and configuration. So longevity, configurations are permanent, feature flags are temporary. Changes also, feature flags changes quite frequently, while configurations don't change that frequently. Integration is there. Versioning is bad for feature flags and it is very good for configuration. UI UX feature flags are good for UI UX kind of things. It is bad for this should not be configuration should not be given to users. Remote or generally feature flags are always remote. Configuration can be remote, can be local as well, or static as well. And use cases for this feature flag is A/B testing, releases. But in case of configuration, it is stored. It is used to store settings or secrets. So that's the difference. So just keep in mind that and figure it out whether you need a feature flag or you need a configuration option. So this was it for this video. Hope you liked it. If yes, do share and keep rocking. Thanks.